nyawnyandi nyama afanansi olusata wokola nin kuma bada abe lafla men fanan fola asila bango fanan fola kakulu lankenama pour ate sondomo kono ay kulu je nyamin.
The floor is yours, Madam Chair.
Commissioners, do you have questions? Yeah. Okay, we start with Mustafa. I'll come to you.
Commissioner Ka, my question is, were you allowed to perform your religious duties while you were in detention?
Commissioner Ka wale nyininka wonya ako fodun alibe muto kono tumo men fo ka sonne aliya alladina kunya lutama ni wale nkasali fo ika songole la bang.
Nkasalile.
Yes, we usually pray. I became the imam in prison until when I was released. I lead prayers at number 6 cell until I left.
Are you finished? Yes. Okay. Commissioner Jones?
Commissioner Jones?
Commissioner Jones lekane nyininka.
Mr. Sonko, I wanted more clarity on .fal.
Mr. Sonko, alafta kumo ya senendi bake .fal la kulu aketa nyamin.
In your testimony to the commission,
you said that .fal was still alive as at the time you were leaving the Fajara barracks. But you didn't tell us whether he died before all the other bodies were buried.
Can
you please shed more light on this? Was he buried while still alive or did he die? And if so, if you could please tell us a bit more on his eventual death.
Ya baluringule bade wato men abeo baramaring abeo batakono fodung la kuona talaba nyadi lebe bade o kala tumo men na ete femfen lonje pour ici au Sénégal itolie nyintembe.
Lieutenant .fal.
Lieutenant .fal.
Bu ñoo génnee ci biir mail Fajara barracks di dem Yundum barracks.
When we got out of the Fajara barracks and we are going to Yundum barracks.
Watan manju mo ne wala koku re pour der Fajara barracks wala ñi koku kawale Yundum barracks.
Can you tell us what that means in Wolof or in Mandinka?
Kansul ko foisio fono nyew koto mumenti surwa kamato wala manika kamato.
Okay, so mbebo kanang Fajara wato mena mbita kan wato aba niela kaji akasele.
When we left the Fajara barracks en route to Yundum barracks, he was still alive and gasping for air. As I told you, he was struggling to breathe.
But mbe futala Yundum wato mena ntefango buka ate jibe no tengde ate fango. Kadntol futata je njita so manna long for afatale instantly for among for instantly.
When we got to the Yundum barracks, I did not have the opportunity to see him because I did not know what became of him later. I cannot tell whether he died subsequently or not.
Perhaps just a follow-up question, but was he part of the other bodies that were buried?
Ako abe men tenten dila jabe men la fala je wolem fatani wo mulu be nyokane menu bade fo ya ni wolu bade nyola le bang.
Yes, they were all buried together.
Commissioner Kinte.
Assalamu alaikum, Commissioner Kinte. Mafuji.
Mafuji.
You
said earlier,
during Al-Futata,
when you arrived, they took 12 individuals and they headed towards Brikama to kill them. They came back again to take another batch of individuals, and among these was Lieutenant Say.
Lieutenant Menin Kala, wala munyinti yenyi mo follow le menu samba, foye kulo la kutole, na te murundi kampo to le ke bade je bang, foye wol mamna.
I want to ask you, these are first batch that we are taken. Do you know if their bodies were brought back to be buried in the barracks?
Kati mem fola munyinti sojar nyaton kol wol murtane ne nata batch fula nyonkama initata.
Because what you said is that the heads of the military heads, the commanders, they came back and took another batch and left with them.
So foye nyim follow la fura o sammananne ye jindi bang ware me sambanang oto man koy makiling.
Did they bring the corpses of these first batch of individuals that were taken or not? That is not clear to me.
Anim fula nyaw bire baj fula nyaw sambay to ma murnang bari fol fura o murtananne ni murtanang fo bade ta yundum le fo eketa nyame.
Secondly, the second batch that was taken, you said that the commanders who took them did not return back to the barracks. Do you know if the corpses of the second batch were brought to the barracks and buried in there?
Hade ngalon
Yes, I know.
aketa nyame na shila moy bake ngafaye.
How it happens, if you listen carefully, I shall tell you.
Ni mo fulol ye mo tannim fulol ngaminu fo ye minu samba.
The first batch of 12 that we are taking,
Niti njeka fuki nit ak ñaar yoy ma wax ne deng lay yobu.
the first 12 that we are taking,
Wolu kabiri ye samba inima murnang kotoke ami kampo kono meje fang
those 12, since they were taken, they were not returned back to the barracks because I did not see them again.
Bangile yobo iswatu nyulen ak ñoñu be fofu si barracks bi majisi len amut.
They did not bring them back to the barracks so that I was able to see them. That never happened. They did not come back.
Okay, wole mu foloti.
That is the first thing.
Fulanjango moy ñaarel bi.
The second one,
Kabiri ye bondi ye samba.
when they were taken out,
Bangile ngene yobul len.
when they took them out,
Inima murnang kampo kono de
they never came back to the camp with them.
adung dels watu ñu len ak ñoom sen body be ci biir camp bi de.
And their bodies were not also returned back to the barracks.
Haketu ngeni ka la banke baj follow ko mo
Forgive
tanga
me,
nim fula.
let me ask you again. You said the first batch was 12 individuals.
Baj fula nyango yalo ne mo jellete ba.
The second
Lieutenant
batch,
Seybe menu
do
kon.
you know how many individuals comprised the second batch, which included Lieutenant Say?
Wo baji fulanjango ñing
The second batch,
mini yalon ko be minu samba kan lieutenant sey mantra wolu kono de.
those that were taken in that second batch, Lieutenant Say was not amongst them.
ñaareli yoonu bi bu ñu doon di yóbbu ñii lieutenant sey bokkutu foofu de.
When the second batch was being taken, Lieutenant Say was not among them.
Sergeant Kamara daa tijjee de.
Sergeant Kamara was not among them.
Commissioner Samba. Assalamu alaikum. Nafre nyinin kala menna.
What I want to ask you is,
Mafuji kadum ko ila kumoto ko lokun saba albulol be sabaringal koma yal city.
you said for 3 weeks your hands were tied behind you,
And we ke dundi kaso kono wala nyama.
and that was the way you were sent, where you were locked in prison.
Sila ni hadama ya kuol na te kang. Altel ka kenyadi le pour ni na fatala ko su ko moto o ila fatala jala mutola say as a Muslim. Ike fanda da nyadi.
So how did you manage if nature called on you, or if you wanted to perform your religious prayers? How did you manage to carry that out?
Ay bunda me ñinin ka bete atale bari
What you ask is good, but
bunda fula ba kono men yalon ka tegol be kafu ñomale kan ñinin ka.
but there are two issues that you combined together to ask me.
Ala ñinin kar kumon tala ngaje ñame na bunda fula le beje bari na
Your question, I can analyze this in two sections, and I want to distinguish them. Go ahead.
Okay, follow. Nimbe kaso kono wala karo mafang.
First of all, when you are in prison and your hands are tied,
ani wato menna mbe kampolu kono ntebulo mantra sitirinde but nimmo membulo be sitirin membu ko sajin kabare.
But while I was in the camp, my hands were not tied, but I was with someone whose hands were tied, Sergeant Kabare.
Wo fana na ma nyale mo.
That one also is a different issue.
su wato bu mu la li ma laaj noonu dafa cover ñaari bunta nga xam ne duñu benn façon.
What the question that I've been asked is covering two issues that are not the same.
waaye su ma mayee mun naa ko firil ma jéenelu ko ñaari bunta yooyu yépp ne nuuroowuñu.
But if I may be allowed, I will explain those two issues which are not the same.
wato bi nga xam ne maa ngi ci kaso bi.
That time that I was in prison,
boobu su ma loxo mu ngi takka nuñ ko dee defee.
that time my hands were bound.
ak wato bi nga xam ne ñu ngi ci biir army camp. nuñ koy defee mel ni ku mel ni Saji Ñankaba rek nga xam ne loxoom bi dafa takka nuñ koy defee dafa utee.
And that time that we were at the camp, and the way they bounded the hands of Saji Nyankabare, the two issues are not the same.
waaye bu fekkee ne bëgg naa pour ñu xam naka la yooyu ñaar yooyu yëpp lii seen différence bi mun naa leen ko wax.
And if you would want to know what the differences were in those two situations, I can explain that further.
Yes, lafta londale. Yalo nga foye nyame nga mire man na nyinin karole understand.
Well, I want to know, given what I told you, it seems you have not understood my question.
Nga nyinin karo men foye wala myenti ko yalo yafo mole janko yelo kun saba soto. Ye dundi what mo ebe mile 2.
I want to the question is you testified here that you were imprisoned for almost 3 weeks.
So just one prison auto.
At just one prison.
Sai ni la fatala pour kata hadamaya la yalo hadamaya ku fulale beje sumuna anin kenteta. So bayri bulo be sitiring. Andu mu misilme wolti. Ibe fan sene andila nyaadi le lafta wole lon.
And the question is, while your hands were bound, so how did you manage to carry out yourself? If nature called on you, if you wanted to ease yourself or to pray, given that you were a Muslim, how did you do that, given that your hands were bound?
Okay, kasoko no je mbulobe sitring ntema fuji sonko bulobe sitring.
Well, inside that prison, my hands were tied. I speaking to you, Mafuji Sonko, my hands were tied.
If
I want to ease myself, either to urinate or to pee, where we were, there was a small pan, a chamber, pot.
Mbulobe sitirin telengalo mbenna kurto urana nyame telengalo mbekela nyame ndabare mben sumunala kono wonya nimbita kamoto fana mben kamala oje wonya.
My hands were bound, but given that this chamber pot was there, I somehow managed to ease myself. If that be urinating or otherwise, I knew I had a way of doing it.
Bari jiti de purisa foko ibe seni ala menna warang.
But there was no water. There was no water which you can use to cleanse yourself or to take care of yourself after the process. If you want, I shall demonstrate to you how it was like.
Lead counsel, do you want him to demonstrate? No, it's not necessary. Okay, Mafuji. It's okay, thank you.
Mafuji iko inumbara abaraka amanjere ya itandi mola kake.
Commissioner Jallo.
Commissioner Jallo wala kana nyinin karola.
Barela kumoy wuli santo dem buka moy.
I want you to raise your voice because I'm not hearing you.
What I want to ask is, in the first instance,
akala after nyinin kala ko folodula.
Peter Singate
identified you and said that you are not among.
Aye tombong aye tandiko ite da mantara wo molu kono menu pareta jamfala.
In spite of that,
bari wo nyawnya
they still retained you and kept you for so many years in jail.
Wo nyawnya ye muta ye sindi kasola fo sanji jama ibe kasola.
Can you explain the circumstances, whether this was predestination or some other people who were after you? Of course, you have said nothing about it here, but I think there is something wrong. You should ask yourself, who is after me?
ako ñing mo sata ko fo alala kito lembang wala fo molle bije men ya lonko wol malla fi itela da hala wolle be noma pour kaje ko yedum wo man toro kono fo dum ite dum ngo inata wo je nyaadile.
Can you shed light on these issues?
Pois foi si o senayandi no le ba molle sotonta menu bete noma pour kaje ko yetu man toro kono.
Adia tanye bake pour nga woto senayandi mba senayandi no la le.
Pleases me to clarify that, and I shall clarify it.
Kabirim pita singate ya itandin na konte dati je yembondi nyum grupo kono le yelondi karala aseniyata.
When Peter identified me as someone who was not part of this group, I was taken out of the group and put aside.
Bari samba bach biring Peter Singate botaje atata bunda mafangola.
But when Peter Singate left and went towards the door, Samba Bach
akonye ko fokin soldier dunjang tajana
told me, fucking soldier, get inside there, go there.
I am murundi nyim molu kono.
And he returned me back to this group.
But Kabri Lieutenant Peter Singate nata.
But when Lieutenant Peter Singate returned,
atandila le ko kotoke atandala le ko ngafoene wahon I told you this man is not among.
He made the statement that for the second time that I told you this guy is not among.
Atambita atata gadrumo mafangola Peter Singate.
He passed and went towards the guard room, Peter Singate.
Abotaje anata tambinto la kata bunda mafangola.
He came back from there, passed us and moved towards the door.
Bari Samba Bach mampare amalla fi fam purunte bonin dulanto purungata am faye.
But Samba Bach did not want me to be taken out of this group to be free.
Yembole nyunukono le yen Samba selo kono.
And he joined me in this group and took me to the cell. Commissioner
Benebi Sanjit kila wakon jelal ma lieutenant yi nga yobulen Fajara.
Ako men ko yenyi lieutenant lu ta yesamba Fajara.
Mom nakala mujje won mom itam.
Ako Mario fon la banta nyaadi le may ye ki pour ko lieutenant lu Samba Fajara.
Waaw ñaarel bi itam ñin sul nonu woru la gisulo ndak julli nañ le wala julli wuñ len.
Ako fulanjaw ye melnu baade wonya fo yaaje la koyte male bang fo isalita wolu male bang fo man sali wo fure woluma.
Abeteata.
It's good.
Lieutenant Mayem Bulaka Nyunu Samba ten Lieutenant Binet Minte.
The lieutenant who instructed me to take these people, Lieutenant Binet Minte.
Atomu Binet leta kontomu Minte let.
His name is Binet and his surname is Minte.
Bari kabiring ayamo iko.
But when he heard that,
problem also to Yundum.
We had a problem at Yundum.
Ate borta kabiruwo watol.
He ran away from then.
Kabiruwo to hanisa nyintenya mamboyakang.
I have not seen him since then, up to today.
Wokola.
After that,
your
second question,
iko.
You said,
ye molu mini ya lonko ye fa ye bade damento ya lonko tenga jefo.
The people that were killed, where they were buried, the place that I identified here,
ye bade nyamena fo salite la fo iman salila.
How they buried them, if they conducted prayers for them or not.
Salimantra army kono.
There is no prayers in the army. We don't know that. What we know is killing and throwing away. I did not see where they prayed over their bodies. I did not also see where they were washed. But what I can testify, anyone that had a nikah, if you had a nikah, that was the way that you were taken.
Anna? Commissioner Jones, you okay?
Imam already asked the question. I wanted to
ask the question. Commissioner Ka?
Commissioner Ka, my second question is, at what point in your detention did your family come to know about where you were held, and were they allowed to visit you in prison?
Commissioner ka ako wati jumalom itila badi ngulu nata long ko iye mutale anim fanang fo inata songulu male pour yene jibe kasola bang
ntela badi ngol ya lo wato menna ma wato londe.
I do not know when my relatives got the information of my detention.
Bari ya long ntengeje ngetoluje wato menna biri nata yen tarakaso kono kanan jibe.
But the time I saw them was when they came to the cell to visit me.
Najalo.
Commissioner Jallo.
Commissioner Jallo wala kana nyininka.
One more question.
Nyininka killing.
Peter Singate and Bach Samba, who is the superior officer?
Ako Peter Singate anim Bach Samba Jallo. Jumale la palaso be juma nyato.
Sama Bach te hanyala diamu Peter Singate nyala.
Bach will not have the courage to speak in front of Peter Singate.
Peter Singate le wala senior officer.
Peter Singate was a senior officer.
Atemu lieutenant oldi.
He was a lieutenant.
Adu nyindomu sajino dronete.
And this other one was just a sergeant.
Bach mu sajino dronete.
Bach was just a sergeant.
Bari Peter Singate mu lieutenant oldi.
But Peter Singate was a lieutenant.
Why then did he not take the instruction of Peter Singate?
Ako muna na den a manson Peter Singate la kumakango tala.
Namo.
My friend.
Samba Bach bukela moy mola.
Samba Bach does not listen to anyone.
Samba Bach lo talentul be nya telunga ko ako Peter Singate ko nko ni adina ntenyi molu ci be fa tu ci
Samba Bach stood in front of us and said to Peter Singate, look, if you give me the order, I could kill all of these people. He said he could kill all of us single-handedly. He does not listen to anyone.
I think the commissioners have finished asking.
Okay,
But before I hand over the session back to the lead counsel,
ako jalnabe kuma kan murundi la lead council bul wala minin kar la nyatonko
I would like to thank Mr. Mafuji Sonko
akabe Mafuji Sonko numbara la
on behalf of the
TRRC alfalu be toyala
for his frank testimony
pour inata CDR koyo men kijang
on the events of the 11th November and thereafter.
wolu men keta November karotel tan nin kilingo ani wokola.
He has been able to memorialize the events that have happened.
Ako ye akata hanfo kulu keta nyamin yakilo ya beje ya be sata ko keta nyamin.
And in spite of the fact that he does not speak English,
ako ndun to nya kono ibuka angale kan fono
has remembered the statements that were made in English.
Bari hakilo ya muta kuma kan lumenu fota angale kan to inyala imanyina wala.
And has been able to present them to the commission.
Adun yewlu sata commission yen janne a seneata.
We are grateful for this
ako nyinkete to liye sewoti
because it has contributed to the objectives of the commission.
Kato ay kafundam bale ke nyin commission la dalilol ni sartol la alota men kam.
That is to create an impartial historical record
Wolem puruka tariki safari ngodeda me ya lonko amankara wo kara fasa tonya doronne bakono
of violations and abuses of human rights
hadama ya nyanta tinyalu menu keta anin tilimbali ya lumen ya lonko iketa
from July 1994 to January 2017
abo July 1994 kana January 2017
in order to promote healing and reconciliation
nyin kamala kamolu jusolu nyabu anin kamolu murundi nyokam badi ya juloli ya choki
address impunity
anim men fanali ya tilimbali yake puru isisilo soto ibe ikulula nyamin
and grant reparations.
Anim fana mantora jawola tamenu kan ibolu buluma sayla nyamin.
We are sorry for and apologize for the pain, suffering and deprivation of your rights.
Nyin ketanye balafati puru nyin kamala e fana isi hakebo indi puru mantoro dimingo anin kolea me ya taki puru kamala e be bolo sayla.
From that night to today,
kabo sutola fokanabula bila
We have noted the institutional lapses
nga korosile doku bundalu fanalla nasidalu ketamenti
that led to your incarceration for 9 years without proper trial.
men natanyi sababu yesoron kasola sanji kononto ime kitinde amanke silaka
For the denial of your personal emoluments as well as your pension rights.
anin inate bali ila soto bundala inyante jola nyamen abanke anyama anin ila pension fanan iye bali fanan
And the length of time that it has taken to address your follow-up to get redress.
anin ay wato menta puru kanyin kolu noma sata hanfo ibinete la kolu tilindi la nyamin
15 years
sanji tanni lulu
is way too long before a person's demands concerning his employment status are addressed.
ako mu wati janneti puru kamo la doku kolu na la soto bulolu kunyalu noma sata foka ibebo nyoto ako sanji tanni lulu jamfa batale.
These are issues that the Commission will address under its reparations mandate.
ako nyilumu kuleti commission of fanambe menu noma sata la ila buluma sayo kango nyinkang
And will work with you to address these issues.
andun commission ni tebe kafula nyoma le kaldo ko ke pour ka kolu noma sata ka je ko tilingo e soto je.
We appreciate that you have been able to maintain a balance in your life.
nyin keta nye dia bati ya kata hanfo yela balunya tembendi fobi
That despite all that you have been through, you look on it as your destiny.
ako yekole ako façon be taki bari wo nyawnyandi ite aje ko ala yenda nyine kamma.
And on that note, I would also like to thank you for bringing humor and drama into the commission.
ako kola fanan abe numbara la abe jayla pour commission yela kumo sata nyawnyandi nyama bari yanin kuolu samba nyama men keta molie jelemma kuolu ti akata molie se wondira mo fananti wo kamala ibe numbara la wala.
I hand you over back to the lead counsel. Lead counsel.
abe ko murundi la lawyer nyaton ko ma men kanyinin karoke.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I now hand over to you, Mr. Sonko.
ako siranti way numbara silang abe ko murundi la ite Mr. Sonko.
This is an opportunity for you to address the people.
ako nyi musilo le ti dami yalon ko ifanansi ila jero ingani yo isi ofo molie.
The floor is yours.
ako woto silang silo fele inyanta isi kacha.
Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alamin.
Thank God.
Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alamin.
I thank God.
Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alamin.
Thank God.
Katunte mafuji sonko.
Was me, Mafuji
Man
Sonko.
mafuji sonko meet ogni.
I, Mafuji Sonko, sitting here.
Ma mira nunko beat lo fango sentra walore nyin dunia kono.
I have never thought that this day will find me here.
Musuma fog ne bes biniki tay dina ma fi feka aduna.
I never thought that a day such as this one will meet me in this world.
Bari muneketa.
But what happened?
Lan mo am.
What happened?
Wole munyenti ngam fam muta ngam fam control ngaje ko ntening hadama dingol bemu kilingolati.
That is, I controlled myself, knowing that me and the other human beings are all the same.
Because
if I want to immerse myself in the things that I have seen or known, if I keep thinking about the things that I have seen or heard, I will lose my sanity.
Man suma hadamaya bidina gena kibir ninyi.
I will lose my sanity.
Walatina mbuka wo manyal ke mbuka mira wo nyama.
That is why I don't think in those lines and I don't think in that fashion.
Li mota dumade def darate dumade yengatu bo xamne nit dina mako gisse o xame mako.
That is why I do not engage in any activity that will lead me to be labeled as something by anyone.
Bari
but
nte Mafuji Sonko,
I, Mafuji Sonko,
mammo mutatanati.
I hold no one responsible.
Man Mafuji Sonko,
I, Mafuji Sonko,
Tio Makensi Dara,
I take no one for any responsibility on anyone.
Momo e kukenna.
Whoever did anything to me,
képp koo xam ne def na ma dara
whoever did anything to me,
nte yam fota beelale
I have forgiven all.
man baalal naa képp
I have forgiven all.
maa muta feŋo fente fenne ten sondomoo ko
I do not hold anything against anyone in my mind.
amul dara li nekk ci suma xel bi
There is nothing in my mind.
bajut wandi buyeje te bu mbëm wajakut
Eso fono manen kangoto bang.
Ifo isio fonye no mandinga kama to bang.
ha sa fono man denka kangola
Yes, I can say that in Mandinka.
Yo, afonye.
fen ku jawten sondomoo kono
There is nothing bad in my mind.
bari
But
nte men beje
everything that I have seen,
li nga xam ne gis naa ko yépp
all the things that I have seen,
moo fula
two people,
ma wolu bon di jeede
I do not remove them from it.
li ma gis yépp
Everything that I saw,
ñaari nit yii
these two individuals,
jeenew ma leen foofu
I cannot dissociate them from it.
bari
But
nte yam fota beelale
I have forgiven all.
waaye
However,
baalal naa yépp
I have forgiven all.
moo fuloolu ñu ne mbeetoolu folale
These two individuals, I shall name them.
ñaari nit yooyu dinaa wax seen tur
These two individuals, I shall mention their names.
wala mu nom moo foloo
The first person,
nit ku njëkka wala mu lieutenant Minte Binet Minte
is Lieutenant Binet Minte.
moo fula njango
The second person,
Samba Bach
Samba Bach.
ñu moo fuloo
These two individuals,
nga mem beeje
everything that I saw,
ñu leya sabumma
they are the cause of it.
nte la joya miraroto
In my own thinking
ani na joya longoto
and in my little knowledge,
ñaari nit yi ma wax nii
these two individuals that I have named,
ñoom ñoo tax ma li ma gis ni yépp ñoom la
they are the cause of everything that I have seen.
ndik ñoom ñoo tax man ma gis loolu
They are the cause, they are the reason that I have
te
seen what I saw.
ñoo ma ci dugal
And they were the ones that put me into my situation.
mu ne yaati na nga ñi moofu loolu too foofu
The reason why I mentioned these two individuals,
nga foloo lieutenant Mintel la
let me start with Lieutenant Minte.
lieutenant Minte muna na benti kilante mantara juuti sa kan kili aka fonye ko ñi lieutenant no sama ada metol fonye
Why would Lieutenant Minte send me on an assignment when I was on duty and ask me to take these lieutenants?
muna na mankuma koyo fonye
Why did he not tell me something clear?
muna na minu be duty ama wolu kili ka foye ko yeta
Why did he not send those that were on duty?
lieutenant Minte lana tax mu ñew mu ne man Sonko ma foji man ma dem yobu lieutenant te waxuma dara
Why would Lieutenant Minte come and instruct me to take these other lieutenants
lieutenant Minte momu ci bopam xamna ne man nekuma duties
and did not tell me anything clear, given that he knew that I was not on duty?
te ñi nekk duties ñu nga fa luta waxu ñooñu
And there were others on duty. Why did he not tell those people?
so nte jejele ko alaftan dundi la problème wala
So I see that as wanting to put me into trouble.
lima muna gis fofu moy lieutenant Minte def ma bëgg dugal ci problème
What I see there is that Lieutenant Minte wanted to put me into trouble.
bar najjo ya miraroto
But in my limited thinking,
ci suma gis bi ci man jaam la
in my thinking, I'm like a slave.
nte ya jele ko atele mbula je bare ala dum o adorone man soti min ka pol beke
For me, I see that he put me there, but God is in control.
mo si dankene ako alam man sakilinati
It's good that people have the faith that God is only one.
ala nay mel lañne
Whatever God ordains,
fo asababo ke fenneti
there has to be a reason for that.
ida adama dingo o yiro o
Either it's a human being, a tree, or
dafengo
an animal.
fasi ci sababu mode
There has to be a reason.
yalla mi nga xamne mo ñu sak
God that made all of us,
lu mu teral
whatever he ordains,
fok sababu am
there has to be a reason for it.
ida mu wéer ko ci doomi adama
It can come through a human being,
o mu wéeru ko si garab,
or through a tree,
o mu wéeru ko ci si rab.
or through an animal.
waaye li la war a dal li nga war a am fokk am fu mu ko war a sababuye.
Whatever will befall you, whatever you will have, there has to be a reason for it.
kon nag
Therefore,
man Sonko war naa am gëm-gëm ne
I,
dogal
Sonko,
yàlla.
I should have the faith that this is the ordination of God.
nte maafuji Sonko ñanta sonnale ko alala kiitiyole lañini tawo ñaa.
I, Mafuji Sonko, I must accept that this is God's hand at work.
bara sababu ngo keta Lieutenant Minteleti.
But the cause of that is Lieutenant Minte.
Mfutaringo Yundum.
On my arrival at Yundum,
bima age Yundum.
when I arrived at Yundum,
Lieutenant Minte tije.
Lieutenant Minte was not there.
Lieutenant Minte nekufa.
Lieutenant Minte was not there.
Bari ala obijele.
But God was there.
Yalla mungfa.
God was there.
Man.
I,
Peter Singate wana ma dega ko te soldari fa nek yeb ak ñi tedanonu yeb ku ne dega nako.
Peter Singate said it, and I heard it, and all the other soldiers that were there heard
ne
it.
man Sonko yow bokkulo fofu.
He said, I, Sonko, you are not, you are not part of it.
Yundumu jeto Peter Singate ay tandin nako.
There at Yundum, Peter Singate made it clear to me that
ite Mafuji Sonko, ite datije.
you, Mafuji Sonko, you are not part of this.
Bari silang.
But now,
Samba
Bach,
mune atina.
Why would he
akunte fucking soldier taj dunjana?
Tell me, you fucking soldier, go and get inside there.
Afana leftan dunda problemo
He also wanted to put me into trouble.
adunga idundindi jele.
And he succeeded in putting me into trouble.
Ata mam fintindi.
He couldn't take me out.
Peter Singate fintindi nyama ma afana mam fintindi wonya.
Peter Singate took me out of the line, but he did not do the same.
Motah mane.
That is why I say
Peter Samba Bach moma bolé ci affaire bi nga xamné man ma war ko gis yépp li may gis ni.
He involved me in a situation which I should not have experienced.
Mota jénéwuma ko ci nit ñi.
That is why I think I did not take him out from the individuals.
ñi nga xamné ñom ñaar ñooñu ñi ma dugaloon ci problème.
That composed the two people that put me into the trouble.
Bar najjo ya mi raroto.
But in my little thinking, these two individuals, I say that these two individuals, that is what is with me, but God passed it through them. That is why eventually I did not come to hold anything against them. In my submission, this is what I hold, this is what I know, that these two individuals were the ones that put me into trouble. But I take it that that was possible because God passed that through them. Which is why I also have to have the faith to know that this is been ordained by God and forgive all of them. And I forgive everyone, I forgive everyone. Whoever said anything bad against me, those that beat me up, whoever did whatever to me, I forgive all.
Do you have a message for the Jola community?
Council ko foy kibar sotole ebe mem fola ibadin Jola li.
Hankai nga soto.
Yes, I have.
Help us with the translation afterwards, the interpretation afterwards.
Ako bitun ning misali kama ya fo Jola account wokola isina akoindi ma kando manika account.
Bismillah. Bukana kumbanka kamme ku Jola ku kamanjutumi kajokutumi kajamutum. inje wafu wumbem di jitu mi jitu wo di mambungara bujaw meno etu te jelan etu ke low man etu ka kajenan ibagetu ande problem bari mbi bukana ko sabare ko kanku sabare yaade ko kanku mutena wala ko jola ko karesa kolola ko sumut bare mbu sabare yaadu mutenal mati duniya yo nomo jaat pen sum kajom pen teli bari wasum mi jaat mbu manji mati komi ko robe be ban kajom waje mbe jolu manjutu kon dinja kajom ma pujuk meno mbu wolo mata ati jamita da bajo bajo mo kammi anosane anu manju mone akammi bukana kumbam mbu kana sabar yaru kana mutena inji tate tani jalo nye buka sanke nakdi Trrc ijalo to buka kajen kares kati an len kanjatu kantu wafu cilayi i jokku mba kant wafu wanu kane inje fangom etu tejoy wonko kares kole kajen tu wafu wole ingartu wafu watan ikajen tu wafu watan ikajen tu wafu wati mansa ingartu wafu wati mansa sakatuma an abuto wari kane kantu wanosan bari lañina yata te jamet ye kana me mante yak nji noken di problème o yani noken ni bari tentu e mi te alhamdulillah rabbil alamin njome jaat bari ngurut wati si wuje inji fango mu mema fuji sonko ila ko jaati leti baji ka wonor kati inji kajom pini to ko bo inji fula fati jaata fangi fu mutu mati pam futo ke nombo dunia bar wana mi tay ragotum latu bajo man ter wana mi tay ragum mi kep kulli nafsi zakati al maut ni la ma fengo feng fasi saya la kunan ngonene bar ning alama kum afo kun fayakun wallahi atake no la baba emite tanko yo eregut aw anaw han punus one urema ete kam tanko ati jamita antu mo ete kan le bajo le kan aw kasancenche wesum maw inji kure gandek pani buji le fulay fa ku le ku lay ku gabale ku lay ku figi le ku lay ku bacir le lo ku yekon ko rerego me pane buji para ko buju to mo waw kane emite lañene wut barati jamita lañene jaat le baye ñi falle tan to ko mbok radio pe tan jokku ñale ti jukem fam wate kala ñi min male de brinne inji kanu ribo dum buram
I think maybe we should just stop it at this point. And thank you very much, Mr. Sonko. Psychosocial, please take charge of the situation and assist the witness. Thank you very much, Madam Chair.
Lead Council ko ngamira nsikul bulajang hadama ya Kenya kamala nse abulajang pour nyin kamala fana menu ba asilo kay men si makoro dino sedo nyinna pour han fo ka sondo mo tenkunde ka so tenkunde folisi o makoro ke
Yeah, I understand that he wants to continue. Perhaps for the purposes of interpretation, if we can have Jola to Mandinka and Mandinka to English, it may probably help. Those are the interpretation, but could you consider that?
Men be kana soro la fo ni afuta jola kangoto wasa aylemandi angale kangoto then
sanyim ba fulani mandinka kangole la anisro kango.
Interpretation, but that may no longer be necessary. The witness wants to now translate what he said from Jola to Mandinka. So it may not be necessary. I can see some flurry of activity in the interpretation booth, but the change would no longer be necessary. The witness would want to speak now in Mandinka. So we would have interpretation from Mandinka to English. Thank you. Go ahead, please.
What I just said is this. As human beings, all of us, let's see each other as one people. Whatever happened has happened. But it's not, that was not our intention. But we must forgive. It's pleasant for others and it's very sour for others. But I, Mafuji Sonko, sitting here, it has never been a pleasant experience for me. But it's not my intention, but I must forgive. And I must accept that I am one with others. Those that did bad things to me, those that did good to me, all of us are one. It's just a matter of time. We will do bad things to one another, but we will leave everything and just forget about everything and hold that, or see to it that we are all one and continue our things. This is the way I hold things. But if that were not the case, what I have seen is too much. What they did to me is too much. My family suffered in my absence. But all of those things, I do not hold that in my mind. I do not even want to isolate myself. I always want to be amongst people. So that I do not constantly keep recalling or rethinking these experiences that I've gone through. So that I'll be one with people with one intention. Whatever has to be done, we all do that. Whatever people don't want, I also don't want it. Whatever has to be done within ourselves, that's what I do. I do not always accept to fight. I don't also trouble people so that everyone knows that this guy is the one troubling this other person. No. Wherever I am with any other people, whatever people want, that is what I always want. I do not belittle anyone. I take people to be equal. And where I am working now, at Atlas, from the time of Total until it was bought by Atlas, I was there. The house that I am now residing in is not my house. My older brother, while I was in detention, he split the land in two and sold a portion. So right now I don't have a place of residence. So How am I doing?
Lunkiling bedia mola bekam faring ko explain kan na friend dole.
One day, I was angrily narrating that situation to one of my friends. How my older brother sold the house. Dudunjai,
operation manager of Total.
Operations manager of Total.
Sani at last.
Now at last.
Olebeje Dudunjai.
He's the one there, Dudunjai.
I am abala office at Loben Nambediamol.
He overheard me saying that he was in his office, and he overheard me saying this. Afterwards, he called me and said to me, he said to me, I have a house in Willinkama, if you would like it. If I would like, I could go there and stay there with my family. And that was how I got to reside in Willinkama up to this day. I have no money. I have no hope of earning money from any other part of the world except this company where I am currently working in. But I thank God, I am quiet, I have maintained myself. If I should have any other statement to make, it would have been said already.
Thank you very much, Mafuji. Madam Chair.
Lead Council ko baraka bake Mafuji saying ay kumosa onde sirantiolema.
Thank you. Session is closed till tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock.
Ako abaraka silang mse bango janjambi ngadanjang fosinin somanda talantang wule hawatu.